Imagine stepping into the hustle of an American airport, O'Hare International in Chicago, to be exact, where the air buzzes with hurried footsteps, echoing announcements, and that subtle undercurrent of unspoken rules. You know the ones who gets the fast lane through security, who draws extra glances from gate agents, and who might just feel like they're under a microscope the whole time. It's a place where the promise of flight meets the harsh reality of society's hidden divides, where race and class can turn a simple trip into a battlefield of assumptions. And that's exactly where our story begins, with a man who's no stranger to navigating those invisible lines. Meet Alex Cooper, a sharp-minded black CEO at the helm of Apex Dynamics, a powerhouse in aviation software that's quietly revolutionizing how airlines run their operations. Picture him mid-30s, exhausted, after 3 straight days of high-stakes investor meetings in the Windy City where he's pitched game-changing tech that could save millions. He's dressed down for the long-haul home gray hoodie, comfortable jeans, and those understated premium sneakers that scream success to those in the know but might look casual to the untrained eye. As he boards Horizon Sky's Flight 223 bound for San Francisco, his boarding pass clutched like a hard-won ticket to peace. Alex's thoughts drift to his cozy home office waiting on the other side. But deep down, there's that quiet vigilance he's carried his whole life, the kind that comes from being the only black face in too many rooms, proving your worth over and over just to exist in spaces not built for you. He settles into the first-class cabin where the plush leather seats and soft ambient lighting promise luxury, but the air feels thick with exclusion. Alex glances around, mostly white faces buried in laptops or sipping pre-flight drinks, and there he is, feeling that familiar weight, the isolation that stirs a mix of quiet resignation and unyielding determination. It's not paranoia, it's experience. Think about it. How many times have you felt eyes on you in a place like this, questioning your right to be there? This isn't just Alex's story. It's an echo of so many others. Remember that infamous 2017 United Airlines fiasco where Dr. David Dow, an Asian-American passenger, was violently dragged off a flight in Chicago, bloodied and dazed, all because of overbooking and a refusal to voluntarily give up his seat? The videos went viral, sparking global outrage, especially from Asian communities who saw it as yet another layer of racial profiling baked into airline policies. The cause: a toxic mix of corporate greed, prioritizing profits over people, combined with unconscious biases that make authority figures quicker to escalate against those who don't fit the compliant mold. The fallout was massive boycotts, lawsuits, and half-hearted policy changes that promised better but often fell flat, leaving travelers wondering if real equity would ever take off. And it's not isolated. Scroll through #FlyingWhileBlack on social media, and you'll find heartbreaking real stories pouring out since 2020 and beyond. Black folks sharing how they're stared at in first class, like they snuck in or pulled aside at security for random checks that feel anything but random. One traveler recounted the pure shock on passengers' faces when they, as the only black couple, claimed those front-row seats they'd paid top dollar for, turning a simple boarding into a spectacle of disbelief. Another described degrading treatment at international layovers, like in Istanbul, where African travelers face outright discrimination, demanding dignity in transit hubs that treat them as suspects. The causes run deep systemic biases in training that teach staff to prioritize valued customers based on appearance, leading to emotional exhaustion, eroded trust, and sometimes even dangerous escalations. Compare it to shopping while black, that nagging surveillance in stores where you're followed like a thief. But in the air, there's no exit door. Vulnerability skyrockets, turning microaggressions into trapped nightmares. The common trap. Judging a book by its cover, assuming a hoodie means doesn't belong, while ignoring that success doesn't always strut in a suit. Or worse, as the victim swallowing your anger to keep the peace, which only perpetuates the cycle, letting injustice fly under the radar. But here's the spark of hope. Recognizing these everyday erosions of dignity is your first reclaim of power. It fuels resilience, turning quiet endurance into a force that can upend the status quo. As Alex makes his way down the aisle, ready to sink into seat 1B and leave the week's battles behind, little does he know this flight is about to test him in ways he never imagined. What starts as a minor mix-up is brewing into something explosive. Stay with me, because the real confrontation is just beginning. As Alex steps deeper into the first-class aisle, the recycled cabin air hitting him like a wave of recycled expectations, he spots his sanctuary seat, 1B window side, perfect for zoning out with some emails. But wait, there's someone already there. A poised white woman in her late 50s, draped in designer silk and pearls that scream old money, lounging like she owns the place. Her name, Eleanor Caldwell, though Alex doesn't know that yet. She's scrolling through glossy images of luxury yachts on her phone, her manicured nails clicking away, oblivious. Or is it deliberate to the world around her? He pauses, boarding pass in hand, and clears his throat politely. "Excuse me, ma'am," Alex says, his voice steady but warm, the kind of tone he's mastered in boardrooms to disarm skeptics. "I believe this is my seat, 1B. She doesn't even look up at first, just lets out a soft sigh, as if he's a minor inconvenience in her perfectly curated day. Finally, her eyes flick upward, sweeping over him like she's appraising a knockoff handbag. "Oh, darling," Eleanor replies, her voice dripping with that faux sweet condescension. "There must be a glitch in the system. I'm sure the attendant can sort you out. Perhaps something more suitable in the back. I've already settled in here with my things." Boom, there it is, that gut punch of familiarity. Alex's heart sinks, a familiar frustration bubbling up like an old wound reopening. He's tired bone deep from those Chicago pitches where he had to prove his tech genius twice as hard just to get a nod. But he holds it together, extending his boarding pass like evidence in a trial he's fought too many times. "No mistake on my end," he responds evenly, though inside his mind races, "Not again. Why must I always prove I belong?" "Here's my pass. Could you check yours?" Eleanor's response, a casual wave-off like swatting a fly. "I'm Eleanor Caldwell of Caldwell Estates," she says, name-dropping with the confidence of someone who's never been questioned. "I've been Horizon Elite for over a decade. This window seat is essential for my migraines. You understand, don't you? Flexibility is key in travel, especially in first class." To feel that tension rising, Alex does his initial exhaustion morphing into a simmering resolve, a fire kindling from years of slights overlooked in meetings because his ideas came from a black man in the room questioned at upscale hotels about his reservation. Eleanor's condescension, meanwhile, masks her own insecurity, her tone sharpening as she senses resistance like a queen defending her throne from an intruder. This isn't just about a seat. It's entitlement rooted in unchecked privilege, the kind that drains the soul of folks like Alex, reinforcing that nagging sense of otherness in spaces meant for everyone. Echoes of history ring here, don't they? Think back to Rosa Parks in 1955, refusing to give up her bus seat in Montgomery, a bold stand against overt segregation that sparked a movement. But today, it's subtler veiled microaggressions like this seat poaching, where reasonableness becomes a weapon to gaslight and maintain the status quo. The aggressor doubles down, twisting words to make you doubt your own rights, while the victim risks escalation just by standing firm. Common pitfalls. Swallowing the bait, moving to keep peace and letting injustice slide or exploding in frustration that plays into stereotypes. But here's the depth, calm assertion, like Alex is mustering, builds inner strength. It's not weakness. It's strategy, turning dismissal into fuel for your fire. As the standoff hangs in the air, Alex's phone buzzes in his pocket. Urgent texts from his team about a multi-million-dollar deal, a subtle reminder of the power he holds close. But Eleanor's not budging, and the aisle's starting to back up with curious glances from other passengers. Little do they know this minor mix-up is about to pull in the big guns, the flight crew stepping in, ready to mediate. Hang tight, because when authority enters the fray, the real blind spots come into sharp focus. The standoff in the aisle thickens like storm clouds, gathering passengers shifting uncomfortably in their seats, pretending to scroll phones, but stealing glances at the drama unfolding. Alex stands firm, his boarding pass a silent shield, while Eleanor's eyes narrow, her entitlement flaring like a match struck in dry tinder. That's when the soft chime of the call button echoes through the cabin, summoning the cavalry, or so Eleanor thinks. Enter Lisa Wong, the flight attendant, mid-20s, with a crisp uniform and that rehearsed smile honed from years of diffusing mid-air squabbles. "Is there an issue here?" she asks, her tone bright but efficient eyes darting between them like a referee in a mismatched bout. Eleanor seizes the moment, leaning forward with the poise of someone used to getting her way. "Oh, thank goodness," she says, her voice pitching up in feigned relief. "Yes, this gentleman insists this is his seat, but I'm already settled. I'm Horizon Elite status, you know. I've flown this route dozens of times and specifically requested the window for my connection." Lisa nods sympathetically, taking the boarding passes with a quick scan. Her frown deepening as the truth stares back. Alex is right. But then that subtle shift. Her smile tightens. "Mr. Cooper, it does seem this is assigned to you," she admits, handing it back. "But Mrs. Caldwell is one of our top flyers. Maybe we can move you to 4C. It's an aisle with great legroom, and we'll comp some drinks as our thanks for understanding." Alex's stomach twists, betrayal hitting like a cold wave. Why me? Why always? The one asked to bend. His composure cracks just a fraction, turning to controlled anger as memories flood in boardrooms where his ideas were dismissed until a white colleague echoed them, or that time at a luxury conference where security double-checked his badge. "Why should I move?" He counters, his voice low but edged. "I paid for this seat. I earned it. This isn't flexibility, it's favoritism." Lisa's unease flickers internal conflict, brewing, her training screaming to prioritize harmony and revenue over raw equity, but a part of her knows this stings of wrong. The knot tightens as Captain Miguel Santos strides in his pilot's cap and authoritative baritone cutting through the murmurs. "Folks, let's keep the peace here," he booms, shaking hands with Eleanor like an old ally. "Mr. Cooper, flexibility helps everyone. We've got to maintain our schedule. Mrs. Caldwell needs that view for her connection. I'm sure we can make this work for you elsewhere." Alex's frustration peaks into quiet fury, his fists clenching subtly at his sides. "Captain, this isn't about views or schedules," he replies, eyes locking on. "It's about fairness. Why am I the one compromising when she's in my seat?" The captain shifts uncomfortably, his tone hiding a deeper aversion to rocking the boat, trained to see complaints like this as hurdles, not injustices. This is where the system's blind spots glare. Brightest policies wired to favor the valued customer often code for those who look the part, leaving minorities to yield time and again. Dig into it. Airlines craft rules around revenue generators, but that breeds biased mediation, where the path of least resistance tramples equity. Remember Delta's 2021 backlash over Georgia's voter laws. The airline stayed silent at first on equity issues, causes rooted in corporate caution, to avoid alienating big spenders, only to face boycotts that eroded trust and forced belated pledges. Consequences like lost billions in reputation, proving silence on bias isn't neutral. It's complicit. Contrast that with workplaces, HR departments, ignoring bias reports as personality clashes, deepening isolation for the victim, versus inclusive firms that probe promptly, fostering loyalty and innovation. The mistake authority makes, dismissing complaints as overreactions, gaslighting folks into doubting their own experiences, which only widens wounds. Alex's mind whirls with those past traumas. They see me as the problem, not her theft, evoking that raw empathy if you've ever felt institutionally erased, like your voice echoes in an empty hall. But here's the motivating truth. Challenging these blind spots starts with questioning standard procedures, turning gaslighting into a catalyst for your unshakable stand. It builds that inner fire, proving you're not just surviving the system, you're reshaping it. As whispers ripple through the cabin and phones discreetly light up with recordings, the energy shifts, bystanders stirring from the shadows, ready to amplify the truth. Buckle up, because those voices are about to turn this personal clash into something unstoppable. The first-class cabin crackles with tension like static before a lightning strike. Alex stands tall, his boarding pass a quiet testament to his right, while Eleanor's sharp gaze dares him to back down. Lisa and Captain Santos hover their suggestions of compromise, landing like salt in an open wound. But the air shifts, murmurs ripple through the seats, heads turning, phones glowing. The passengers aren't just spectators anymore. They're waking up, and the spotlight's about to find new players. A clear voice cuts through from row 3. "Excuse me, but this is textbook discrimination." It's Sofia Ramirez, a Latina journalist in her mid-40s, silver streaks in her dark hair framing a face that's seen its share of battles. Her press badge from the Chicago Tribune glints as she holds it up. "I've been watching Mrs. Caldwell, and you're refusing a black man with a valid boarding pass simply because you think he doesn't belong here." Her words land like a gavel, and Alex feels a spark of hope. Someone sees it. Eleanor snaps her composure, fraying, "This is none of your business. It's a seating mix-up, not a federal case." But Sophia's unfazed, her pen already scribbling. "Oh, it's my business when it's about fairness in public spaces. I cover civil rights for a living." Then a younger voice pipes up from row 5. "Yo, this is going viral, 300 viewers already. It's Mia Lee, a college student with a quick smile and quicker fingers, her phone live streaming to her thousands of followers. Guys, check this racism unfolding live on Horizon Flight 223. Eleanor whirls around, her face flushing crimson. "You're filming me. I don't consent to this." Mia shrugs, defiant yet playful. "Public space lady. I'm documenting a civil rights issue. My viewers are calling you out. Comments are wild." Alex catches the elderly black couple in row 4, exchanging a look, their eyes heavy with recognition. The man whispers to his wife, "Same old story, isn't it?" Their quiet nod sends a pang through Alex, a shared scar of too many moments like this. The cabin's alive now, a buzzing hive of outrage and awakening. Eleanor doubles down, her voice sharp as a blade. "You people are blowing this out of proportion. It's just a seat." That phrase "you people" hits like a thunderclap. Gasps ripple. A white businessman in row 2 winces, looking away. Sophia's pen freezes, her eyes narrowing. "Did you just say, 'you people,' in a racial discrimination dispute?" she asks, voice steady but piercing. "I'm quoting you exactly for my story." Eleanor stammers, panic creeping in. That's not what I meant. I meant journalists, social media types, not. I'm not a racist. Her protest rings hollow, her confidence crumbling into defensive desperation. Alex's heart shifts from isolation to a tentative surge of empowerment. For the first time, he's not alone in this fight. Allies are stepping up their voices, amplifying his truth. Sophia's righteous clarity and Mia's digital defiance are turning a private injustice into a public reckoning. Mia's phone pings her viewer count, jumps to 1,000, the hashtag Horizon Hate trending fast. The elderly couple's quiet solidarity anchors Alex, their lived experience, a reminder that this isn't new. But maybe, just maybe, the response can be. This moment is electric because it's bigger than one seat. It's the power of bystanders refusing to stay silent. Think of 2018 when two black men were arrested at a Starbucks for simply waiting, their humiliation caught on video, sparking protests and policy changes. Social media turned a coffee shop into a global stage, exposing bias that might have been swept under the rug. Compare that to the Jim Crow era, when silence from onlookers let segregation fester. Today's tech hands us a megaphone, making every witness a potential force for change. The pitfall. Staying quiet out of fear, letting injustice breathe because it's not your fight. But when you speak up like Sophia and Mia, you shift the tide. The lesson here, your voice, even from the sidelines, can turn shadows into spotlights, shining truth where it's needed most. As the cabin hums with whispers and flashing screens, Eleanor's face tightens, her hands clutching her Louis Vuitton bag like a lifeline. Alex stands steady, his phone buzzing again, texts from his team, oblivious to the storm he's in. But something's brewing inside him, a decision forming that could flip this entire scene upside down. Hold on tight, because what Alex does next is about to send shockwaves through this plane and beyond. The first-class cabin is a pressure cooker, now the air thick with gasps, and the glow of phone screens capturing every word. Eleanor's face flushes red, her earlier poise unraveling as Sophia's pen and Mia's live stream pin her under the weight of her own words, you people still echoing like a misfired shot. Alex stands resolute, his boarding pass a quiet rebellion against the injustice trying to push him aside. Lisa fidgets, her professional mask slipping, while Captain Santos shifts, sensing this is no ordinary dispute. The cabin holds its breath, waiting for the next move in this high-stakes chess game. Eleanor, cornered, leans forward, her voice sharp with desperation. You're just causing drama for comps, aren't you? Hoping for an upgrade or a payout? Her accusation stings a blade aimed at Alex's dignity, implying his presence in first class is a scam. Alex's eyes narrow, his anger crystallizing into something colder, sharper, a steely resolve forged from years of being underestimated. Mrs. Caldwell, he says, his voice low, but slicing through the cabin. I'm done asking. Ground this flight. Now. The words land like a thunderbolt. Captain Santos lets out a disbelieving chuckle. Excuse me, you can't order a plane grounded, sir. Eleanor smirks, regaining her edge. Oh, this is rich. What's next? Demanding a private jet. But Alex doesn't flinch. He reaches into his pocket, pulls out his phone, and taps the screen with deliberate calm. The sleek interface of an app lights up, branded with the Horizon Skies logo, but labeled Apex Dynamics Executive Control. His finger hovers over a button marked Ground All Flights, CEO Override. I'm not asking, he says, locking eyes with the captain. I'm telling you. He taps the button. A confirmation flashes, Flight 2223, grounded by owner directive. Return to gate D12 immediately. The cabin falls silent save for the hum of the aircraft's systems. Then the captain's radio crackles to life, urgent and unmistakable. Flight 2223. This is Tower Control. We're showing a CEO override order. Confirm status and taxi back to gate D12 now. The shock ripples outward. Eleanor's jaw drops, her designer bag slipping to the floor. What? What did you do? She stammers, her arrogance shattering into a humiliated disbelief. Lisa's eyes widen, her hands trembling as she clutches her clipboard. Captain Santos stares at his radio, then at Alex, mouth agape, as if he's just seen a ghost take the controls. Alex slips his phone back into his pocket, his expression almost pitying. Mrs. Caldwell, allow me to introduce myself properly. I'm Alex Cooper, CEO of Apex Dynamics. We own 70% of Horizon Skies. That means I don't just have a seat on this plane, I own the plane. The cabin erupts in murmurs, passengers exchanging stunned glances. Mia's live stream explodes, her viewer count surges past 2,000 comments flooding with fire emojis and #HorizonHate trending globally. Sophia's pen races across her notepad, her journalist's instincts buzzing with the scoop of a lifetime. The elderly black couple in row 4 nods slowly, a glimmer of pride in their eyes, as if they've waited decades for a moment like this. Alex's heart pounds, not with anger now, but with triumph, a cathartic release for every time he's been dismissed, doubted, or diminished. Inside his mind roars. Finally, they see me. This is the twist that flips the script, exposing the fragility of bias when power reveals itself. It's a moment that resonates with anyone who's been underestimated, like Ursula Burns, the first black woman CEO of Xerox, who faced skepticism despite her brilliance, or Kenneth Chenault at American Express, whose quiet authority reshaped industries. The cause of this clash: assumptions rooted in race and appearance blinding Eleanor to Alex's worth. The consequence: a power inversion that shatters her worldview and forces accountability. Compare it to everyday underdogs, folks without Alex's leverage who endure these slights silently, their stories buried. The mistake: judging a book by its cover, missing the strength beneath. The lesson: hidden power can redefine any battle. Cultivate yours because it's there, waiting to be unleashed. This kind of moment isn't new, but feels electric because it's rare. Think of 2020, when black executives like Melody Hobson spoke out post-George Floyd, turning personal pain into calls for systemic change. Their platforms, like Alex's, shifted narratives. But the trap is assuming only the powerful can fight back. Everyone's got a spark, a voice, a phone to record truth. Alex's stand is a beacon for anyone who's felt invisible, a reminder that resilience can turn the tables. As the plane begins its slow taxi back to gate D12, the cabin buzzes with a new energy, cameras flashing, whispers growing, the world outside starting to take notice. Eleanor slumps, her defiance reduced to silence, while Alex stands tall, his phone buzzing with urgent texts from his team. The media's already circling, and this isn't just about one seat anymore. It's about to become a tidal wave. Stay with me, because the fallout from this move is going to shake the skies and beyond. The plane lurches to a stop at gate D12, the hum of the engines fading into an eerie quiet. But the storm is just beginning. Outside, the Chicago evening glows orange through the terminal windows, while inside the first-class cabin crackles with aftermath. Alex stands like a lighthouse in a squall, his phone still warm from the app that flipped the world upside down. Eleanor slumps in seat 1B, his seat, her designer bag, forgotten, her face a mask of stunned defeat. Mia's livestream is a wildfire, now hitting 5,000 viewers, the hashtag at Horizon Hate, climbing global charts. Sophia's pen hasn't stopped her notepad filling with a story that's already breaking news. But this isn't just about one grounded flight. Oh no, this is the spark of something massive, and Alex is about to pour fuel on the flames. As passengers shuffle toward the exit, a swarm of reporters floods the gate, cameras flashing like lightning. A Horizon executive, Rebecca Torres, VP of Operations, pushes through her tailored suit, crisp, but her face pale. "Mr. Cooper, please," she says, her voice tight with urgency. "Let's handle this privately back at headquarters. We can resolve this quietly." Alex's eyes meet hers, calm but unyielding, the kind of look that says he's not here to negotiate half measures. "No, Rebecca," he replies, his voice carrying through the crowd. "This isn't private. This is public, systemic, and it ends now. Suspend Lisa and Captain Santos, pending a full review. Ban Mrs. Caldwell from Horizon skies permanently." The crowd gasps, cameras zooming in. Eleanor's head snaps up, her voice a shaky protest. "You can't do that. I'm a Platinum Elite member." Alex doesn't even glance her way. "I just did." Then he drops the bombshell. And as of today, he announces, stepping toward the reporters, Apex Dynamics is rolling out bias detection software across Horizon's systems and every airline we partner with. Every interaction will be logged. Every complaint escalated within 24 hours. No exceptions. No more buried injustices. No more valued customers getting a pass for prejudice. The reporters erupt, shouting questions. "Mr. Cooper, is this industry-wide?" "What's the timeline?" Alex raises a hand, his presence commanding. "It's global, it's immediate, and it's non-negotiable. If airlines want our tech, they play by our rules." The twist lands like a shockwave. His phone buzzes with urgent calls, not just from Horizon's board, but from rival airlines like Delta and United are begging for emergency meetings. They're not calling to argue. They're scrambling to get on board. Inside, Alex's triumph burns bright but steady, a fire forged from years of being underestimated, now blazing for everyone who's ever been told they don't belong. Eleanor's tears streak her makeup, her defiance reduced to a dawning regret. She's not just losing a seat. She's losing her untouchable status. Rebecca's face tightens, realizing the industry's about to be reshaped. Sophia's story is already hitting newsstands while Mia's stream surges past, 10,000 comments flooding with support. This is justice. Alex is a hero. The elderly black couple lingers nearby, their eyes shining with quiet pride, as if decades of their own battles just found a voice. This is bigger than one flight. It's a reckoning. Think of 2020, when George Floyd's death pushed companies to make loud anti-racism pledges, only for many, like certain airlines, to backslide into performative apologies without real change. The cause: prioritizing PR over accountability, letting revenue trump reform. The consequence: eroded trust and boycotts, like when Delta faced backlash over voter suppression laws, losing millions in goodwill. Compare that to genuine overhauls, firms like Salesforce integrating equity metrics into hiring, proving change is possible when it's structural. The mistake here: companies issuing hollow "we're sorry" statements, hoping the storm passes. Alex's move shows the real path: bold, systemic action that forces accountability, not just promises it. The lesson: one act of courage can spark a tidal wave, but you've got to embrace the backlash, because that's where progress lives. Alex's stand is a beacon for anyone who's felt crushed by systems, a reminder that your fight, no matter how small it seems, can ripple outward. Whether it's calling out a microaggression at work or recording an injustice, your spark matters. The trap thinking change stops. At the win, real transformation demands follow-through, not just a viral moment. As the reporters swarm closer, Alex's phone lights up again, his team now aware of the chaos, sending frantic updates about stock surges for Apex Dynamics and panic in Horizon's boardroom. The world's watching, and this story's about to soar far beyond Gate D12. But what happens when one man's stand reshapes an industry and maybe the world? Stick around, because 3 years from now, the skies look very different. And the legacy of this moment will leave you inspired. The engines hum softly as Horizon Sky's Flight 223 taxis into San Francisco. 3 years later, the same route where everything changed. Alex Cooper sits in seat 1B, his seat watching the golden coastline slip past the window. The first-class cabin feels different now. A diverse crew moves with quiet confidence, their badges gleaming under new anti-bias training pins. Overhead screens display a dignity in travel, pledge part of Apex Dynamics' software now woven into every Horizon flight. Alex's reflection in the window shows a man transformed, not just a CEO, but a catalyst, his scars of that day now badges of purpose. The weight of isolation he once carried has lifted, replaced by a steady pride that hums like the plane itself. As he adjusts his seat, a young black boy, maybe 8, peeks over from 2A, his dad beside him. "Dad, what's dignity in travel mean?" the boy asks, pointing at the screen. His father, a man with kind eyes and calloused hands, smiles softly. "It means we fly free, son, no more, proving we belong." People like Mr. Cooper made that happen. Alex overhears his heart swelling with a mix of humility and resolve. Across the aisle, Sarah, now a lead trainer after her suspension and redemption, catches his eye. "Mr. Cooper," she says, her voice warm with gratitude, "this program, your program, changed everything. Complaints are down 90%. We're better now." Alex nods his smile, quiet but deep. "It's not just me, Sarah. It's all of us." The transformation is staggering. Apex's bias detection tech, now standard across 200 airlines worldwide, logs every interaction, flags prejudice in real time, and escalates complaints within 24 hours. Annual discrimination reports, once buried, are public, showing a drop from 12,000 complaints in 2022 to under 1,000 last year. The ripple effect: schools and hospitals adopted the tech with UN-backed standards, making it global. A fictional Digital Equity Act, inspired by Alex's stand, now protects travelers in 30 countries. Even Eleanor, unnamed in the aftermath, is rumored to have quietly funded a scholarship for underrepresented youth. A flicker of redemption no one saw coming. This is the legacy of resilience, a single stand sparking a revolution. Reflect on 1963, when Martin Luther King Jr.'s March on Washington turned personal pain into collective action, much like Alex's tech-driven movement today. The cause: systems that make bias visible, not ignorable. The consequence: equity woven into daily life, from boarding passes to boardrooms. Compare it to shallow wins like post-2020 corporate pledges that faded when the headlines did. The trap thinking victory is final. Complacency kills progress. Real change demands vigilance. Alex's story proves it. One spark can light a fire, but you've got to keep fanning it. The emotional weight hits hard as Alex watches the boy and his father, their conversation, a living echo of why he fought. It's for them, for the elderly couple from that fateful flight, for every listener who's felt the sting of being less than. The twist: as the plane lands, Alex pulls out his tablet, drafting a speech to expand Apex's tech into new sectors, prisons, retail policing, because this fight never stops. His inner voice whispers, pain to purpose, always. It's a call to every underdog. Your wounds are your strength, your platform, the key to change. As the cabin lights dim for landing, the world below sparkles with possibility. This isn't just Alex's legacy, it's ours, a reminder that resilience turns scars into stars. So, what's your spark? What injustice will you name, fight, or amplify? The skies are clearer now, but the journey's just begun. If this story lit a fire in you, don't let it flicker out. Drop a comment below. Share your own moment of standing up or witnessing change. It's your story that keeps this movement alive. Hit that like button to spread the word, and subscribe to join our community of fighters, dreamers, and changemakers. Click the bell so you never miss a tale of triumph. Together, we're not just watching history, we're making it. Let's keep the skies open for everyone.